It's hot.
Do I need to open the fan?
No, it's okay. It's too loud. It's too loud. So where are all the people are coming from? I really don't want to hold it with my hand all the time. No, that's too close. That's too close. I cannot move.
Closer, Ajahn.
No, I. It is in my face, huh? Huh?
Enough.
Okay.
Okay. In here.
You can put it a little bit lower, so then that's too noisy. So what do the people want to hear about?
Apakah yang ingin kalian dengar?
Nothing, huh?
Apakah tidak ada yang ingin kalian dengar? Jadi tidak ada yang
That's too strong. Yeah. Why are there people still with the mask on?
kenapa kalian pakai masker?
Huh? I mean, COVID is over a long time ago. Yeah? Huh? And if we are afraid to die, huh, then we shouldn't be born. Because if we are born, we are going to die. No?
One in one, Ajahn.
If we are going to be born, we are going to die.
To die. Jadi, jadi kenapa takut dengan COVID? Kalau takut mati, kenapa kita harus takut?
And we are not going to die because of COVID or heart attack or stroke or whatever or cancer. We are dying because of our karma. Yeah? And the karma comes from the last life. There's nothing you can do about it. I hope you translate correctly.
Jadi kita tidak akan mati karena stroke, karena COVID, karena cancer, tapi kita mati karena kita dari masa lalu.
It was a bit short, huh?
So, summarize.
Summarize. Buddhism starts with the Four Noble Truths.
Start of number two.
Four Noble Truths. Buddhism starts with the Four Noble Truths.
Jadi ajaran Buddha dimulai dari 4 kebenaran dunia.
The first Noble Truth is dukkha.
Yang pertama adalah dukkha.
Dukkha, what is dukkha? It's not only suffering, it is discomfort, dis-ease, restlessness, pain, and suffering.
Jadi dukkha itu bukan hanya penderitaan tetapi ketidaknyamanan,
Huh?
discomfort,
Discomfort, dis-ease,
dis-ease, ya sama lah ya. Ketidaknyamanan, tidak enak, penderitaan. Bukan hanya kita menderita, tetapi tidak nyaman juga merupakan dukkha.
restlessness.
Restlessness, kecapean, kegelisahan.
I thought Han is going to help you. Huh? I mean, you translated the book, so you should know all these terms that I'm using, or?
I hope so. We need help.
I do hope some people understand some English. When we wake up in the morning, yeah, and we don't want to get up, it's dukkha.
Ketika kita bangun di pagi hari dan kita tidak ingin bangun, itu adalah dukkha.
When we're hungry, it's dukkha.
Ketika kita lapar, itu adalah dukkha.
When we're thirsty, it's dukkha.
Ketika kita haus, dukkha.
And when we are tired, it is also dukkha.
Ketika kita capek, itu juga adalah dukkha.
Yeah? It is very important to understand the first noble truth of dukkha.
Adalah sangat penting untuk memahami kebenaran mulia yang pertama, yaitu apakah itu dukkha?
Because if we don't see dukkha, we don't find the way out of dukkha.
Karena bila kita tidak dapat melihat dukkha, kita tidak mencari jalan keluar daripada dukkha.
And that is only the dukkha of this body.
Dan itu hanyalah dukkha daripada jasmani ini.
The dukkha of the heart is we don't like this, we don't like that, we want this, we want that. Yeah.
Dukkha daripada hati adalah kita tidak suka ini, kita suka ini, kita dislike this, dislike that. Oh, kita menginginkan ini, kita tidak menginginkan itu.
You know, we want to become this or we don't want to be that.
Kita ingin menjadi ini, kita tidak ingin menjadi itu.
So who doesn't have dukkha in his life?
Jadi siapakah yang tidak memiliki dukkha dalam hidup ini?
Think about it very clearly, yeah? I mean, it is not easy to live this life, huh?
Pikirkanlah dengan jelas, tidak mudah untuk hidup dalam kehidupan ini.
And the good news is that in our next life we have the same problems.
The good news.
The good news.
Dan kabar baiknya di kehidupan berikutnya kita juga memiliki problem yang sama.
If we don't find a way out, I mean, we will experience that over and over and over again. Huh? Think, yeah.
Jadi bila kita tidak mencari jalan keluarnya, kita akan mengalaminya terus dan terus dan terus.
When we are born, remember that? Yeah? When we are born, we learn to walk, then we learn to talk, then we learn to read, then we learn to write, then we learn to think. It took us 18 years, to be able to use this body.
Jadi ingatkan kita ketika kita lahir, kita tumbuh besar, kita belajar membaca, menulis, lari, kita berlatih diri ini sampai 18 tahun.
You want to do that again?
Apakah kalian ingin mengulanginya?
I have no problem with you. Yeah, I have no problem if you want to do it again and again and again and again, because samsara vata, or the round of rebirth, death and birth and death and birth. Yeah, if we don't stop it, we will not get out.
Saya tidak masalah bila Anda ingin mengulanginya terus dan terus dan terus karena kelahiran mati, lahir dan mati berulang-ulang terus menerus.
So if you enjoy this kind of life, I mean, then just go on. Yeah. Huh?
Dan dalam kehidupan ini semuanya terus berlanjut.
That was short.
Go on and go on.
What?
Go on and go on.
No, I said if you enjoy this kind of life, then you go on and on.
Jadi bila Anda memilih kehidupan yang demikian, maka kita akan mengalaminya terus dan terus. Berulang-ulang.
You don't have to worry, yeah. But it's not only the human realm that we are born into.
Dan Anda tidak perlu khawatir, kita tidak terlahir hanya dalam dunia, tidak hanya menjadi manusia.
There's the hell realm, the ghost realm, the demon realm, and the animal realm.
Ada dunia hantu, ada dunia
Ghost, animal, demon,
asura,
asura kai.
asura, hantu, binatang, and hell.
Hell.
Dan neraka.
And the animal? Okay, yeah. And if we are good, if we have good fortune, yeah, then we can go for a while into the heavenly realm.
Dan bila kita beruntung, kita dapat lahir di alam surga.
So we go up, and then we go down, and then we go up again, and then we go down again, and up again, and down again. That's what the Lord Buddha teaches, that's what the Lord Buddha saw, and that's why he gave us the way out.
Dan kita naik, turun, naik lagi alam tinggi, turun lagi ke alam rendah. Itulah yang Buddha ajarkan, yang Buddha lihat sendiri, dan Buddha mengajarkan jalan keluar buat kita.
Don't listen only with your ears, listen with your heart.
Jangan hanya mendengar dengan telinga, tetapi dengarlah dengan hati Anda.
Buddhism is nothing that we consume. Buddhism is something that goes into our heart that we understand. You consume.
Buddhism ajaran kita bukan hanya untuk dikonsumsi atau hanya untuk dibaca, dipelajari, tetapi bagaimana agar dapat masuk ke dalam hati kita.
Consume is like eating and and shitting it out.
Konsumsi adalah seperti kita makan dan hanya kita buang kotoran itu saja.
But Buddhism is something, the teaching of the Lord Buddha is something that we have to understand, that we have to take into our heart and don't let it go.
Tetapi ajaran Buddha adalah sesuatu yang harus kita pahami dengan hati kita dan jangan kita lepas.
So that was the first noble truth about dukkha. The second noble truth is, what is the cause of our dukkha? It is the desire, it is tanha, it is wanting, or not wanting.
Itu adalah kebenaran mulia yang pertama, dan kebenaran mulia kedua adalah apakah sebab dukkha, yaitu keinginan dan desire, yaitu menginginkan atau tidak menginginkan.
Wanting to be, not wanting to be. Wanting to become, not wanting to become. Wanting this, wanting that. Not wanting this and not wanting that.
Menginginkan ini, menginginkan itu, ingin menjadi ini, ingin menjadi itu, tidak ingin ini, tidak ingin itu, tidak ingin menjadi ini, tidak ingin menjadi itu. Jadi bukan hanya ingin adalah dukkha, tapi tidak ingin juga adalah dukkha.
We want a bigger house, we want a bigger car, we want another wife, or we want another husband, There are so many things, that causes us dukkha.
Kita menginginkan rumah yang lebih besar, kita menginginkan ekstra istri, suami tambahan, itu adalah dukkha.
Or we want money, We never have enough money, That's also dukkha.
Kalau uang, kita menginginkan uang, tidak pernah puas dengan berapa uang yang kita ada, itu juga adalah dukkha.
If we would be satisfied with whatever we have and whatever is given to us, then there would be no dukkha.
Bila kita puas dengan apa yang kita ada, maka tidak akan ada dukkha.
Can we be that?
Bisakah kita seperti itu?
Think about it, every day, Think about your life every day, your desires, your wanting and your desires.
Pikirkanlah hal tersebut setiap hari, keinginan kita menginginkan ini dan itu.
So, the third noble truth is, there is an end to dukkha.
Jadi, kebenaran mulia ketiga adalah akhir daripada dukkha.
And the fourth noble truth is the way that leads to the end of dukkha.
Dan yang keempat adalah jalan menuju akhir dukkha.
And what leads to the end of dukkha?
Dan apakah yang mengantar kepada akhir daripada dukkha?
Sila, samadhi, panya.
Sila, samadhi, panya.
You don't have translations for that?
Kita semua paham lah ya, sila, samadhi, panya.
Sila are the 5 precepts.
Sila adalah 5 sila.
The first precept, not to harm any living being.
Yang pertama adalah tidak membahayakan, mencelakai makhluk hidup manapun.
Being, not only human beings.
Makhluk, jadi bukan hanya manusia.
It includes animals, and ghosts and devas,
Yang termasuk hewan, hantu, dan juga dewa.
The second precept is not to take what is not given.
Yang kedua adalah tidak mengambil apa yang tidak diberikan.
If we go, to our neighbor, and see some nice fruits in his garden and take them, and he has not given it to us, then it is against the precept.
Bila kita melihat di taman tetangga kita ada buah dan kita mengambilnya tanpa diberikan, kita melanggar sila kedua.
Or if we work in a company and take this that belongs to the company without asking for permission, then it's also against the precepts.
Atau bila kita dari suatu perusahaan, kita mengambil sesuatu yang merupakan milik perusahaan, itu juga melanggar sila kedua.
And we do that very often.
Dan kita melakukannya, kita sering melakukan.
It is not only stealing, it's not only stealing, but it's also these little things,
You're not stealing.
It's not only stealing, but it's also taking these little things that we think it is okay.
Jadi bukan hanya mencuri, tetapi juga mengambil sesuatu yang kecil yang tidak kita sadari.
The third precept is no sexual misconduct.
Yang ketiga adalah tidak berperilaku asusila.
Having a wife, then not looking for another one, not going outside of the marriage, be it man or be it woman, not,
Dalam suatu pernikahan kita tidak mencari suami atau istri yang lain atau laki-laki atau perempuan yang lain daripada pasangan kita yang sah.
And not using somebody, that is dependent on us for our sexual pleasure.
Dan tidak menggunakan seseorang yang masih dalam penguasaan, masih dalam under di bawah perlindungan orang tuanya atau siapapun untuk kesenangan seksual.
So it starts with parents and their kids,
Jadi dimulai dari orang tua dan anak-anaknya,
teacher and student,
guru dan murid-muridnya,
professor and student,
profesor dan murid-muridnya,
but also our employer and employees.
dan juga pemimpin dan anggotanya atau karyawannya, pekerjanya.
And when you look at the world, it is full of sexual misconduct.
Bila kita melihat dunia ini penuh dengan perilaku asusila.
I don't know about Indonesia, but everywhere where I look, it is full of sexual misconduct.
Bante mengatakan tidak tahu di Indonesia apakah seperti itu, tetapi dimanapun beliau melihat, dimanapun beliau pergi, semuanya penuh dengan asusila.
Even if our religion allows, to have multiple wives, or multiple husbands, it is against the precept.
In Laos,
even if the religion allows us to have multiple wives or multiple husbands, then it is against the precept.
Walaupun suatu agama mengizinkan untuk memiliki lebih dari satu istri ataupun satu suami, yang demikian juga melanggar sila.
The fourth precept is no lies, no harsh speech, no speech that hurts other people.
Yang keempat adalah tidak berbohong, tidak berkata kasar, tidak berkata kata-kata yang menyakitkan orang lain.
The problem with this precept is that we say things that that we don't want to say, and we regret it later. So we have to have sati, not to say things, not to look down on other people, not to hurt them.
Jadi kadang-kadang kita berbicara, kita mengatakan sesuatu yang nantinya akan kita sesali, jadi kita harus memiliki hati, kesadaran untuk tidak berkata-kata yang kasar atau menyakiti orang lain.
And the fifth precept is no alcohol, no drugs, everything that makes us unmindful.
Dan yang kelima adalah dilarang mengkonsumsi alkohol ataupun obat-obatan yang melemahkan kesadaran kita seperti narkoba.
And that includes nowadays, the smartphones.
Dan zaman sekarang termasuk handphone, smartphone.
Everybody is, everywhere where I go, I see people, being addicted to the smartphone. Yeah.
Jadi beliau dimanapun pergi melihat orang yang terlalu candu pada smartphone.
Sitting on the back of the motorcycle, and texting in something. Yeah.
Duduk di belakang kereta juga texting, chatting, mengetik sesuatu.
It is a kind of a drug, that avoids us to seeing the dukkha in our life.
Ini merupakan suatu obat terlarang seperti narkoba yang membuat kita tidak dapat melihat dukkha dalam kehidupan ini.
Because restlessness is dukkha.
Karena kegelisahan adalah dukkha.
And if we are restless or bored, we look at our smartphone.
Karena ketika kita gelisah atau kita bosan, kita lari, kita melihat handphone.
It doesn't, it is not really, to the belonging to the five precepts, but because I see the use of it, I said, beware of it.
Itu tidak termasuk dalam sila kelima, tetapi saya melihatnya kecanduan yang dihasilkan membuat kita seperti melemahkan kesadaran kita.
All the older people, what did you do 10 years ago?
Orang-orang yang lebih tua, apakah yang mereka lakukan 10 tahun yang lalu?
When there were no smartphones, life must be very boring at that time, huh?
Ketika tidak ada smartphone, kehidupan pasti sangatlah membosankan.
But now I see also the older people, 40, 50 years, constantly being on their smartphones. Huh?
Jadi orang sekarang 40 tahun, 50 selalu melihat smartphone mereka.
It's dangerous for us as Buddhists, because it hides, the truth, the first noble truth. And if we don't see the first noble truth, we don't find the way out of dukkha. Yeah?
Ini sangat berbahaya bagi seorang Buddhis karena dia menyembunyikan dukkha daripada kita, sehingga kita tidak mencari jalan keluar daripada dukkha.
If you need to use it in a smart way, yeah, but not to distract yourself.
Bila Anda ingin menggunakannya, gunakanlah dengan bijaksana.
So the important thing about these five precepts, whoever does not keep the five precepts will go down into the lower realms.
Jadi bagi orang yang tidak menjalankan, tidak memegang lima sila, mereka akan turun ke alam yang lebih rendah.
Remember this, yeah? Hell is not a very pleasant place to be.
Ingatlah hal ini, karena neraka bukanlah tempat yang menyenangkan untuk kita kunjungi.
And don't think you have never been to hell.
Dan jangan berpikir kita tidak pernah pergi ke neraka.
Every one of us remembers it very well. That's why we are afraid of it.
Setiap kita semua pernah ke neraka dan mengingatnya dengan begitu baik. Oleh karena itu kita takut dan tidak mau pergi ke neraka.
We have been there so often, yeah?
Kita sering ke neraka.
For the normal human being, yeah? They become a human being, they they go against the precept, they go to hell. Once the punishment is over, then they come back in the ghost realm, and once it is over, then they come back as a human being, just to do the same things again and again, to go down again. Yeah?
Jadi terlahir sebagai manusia, mereka yang melanggar sila, mereka akan turun ke alam neraka. Setelah dari alam neraka, mereka dilahirkan di alam hantu, Dan setelah itu dilahirkan kembali menjadi manusia, di mana mereka melakukan hal-hal yang sama kembali, jadi mereka turun kembali.
So remember that if you don't want to go down, keep the 5 precepts from now. Forget what has happened, in the previous years. From now on, you keep them.
Jadi ingatlah, bila tidak ingin ke neraka, kita mulai dari sekarang ini, kita pegang dengan teguh 5 sila kita. Lupakanlah hal-hal di masa lalu kita, mulai sekarang kita pegang 5 sila kita dengan baik.
Unless you want to visit all your friends who go down to hell. Unless you want to visit all your friends that go down to hell.
Kecuali Anda
Or join.
Anda ingin join teman Anda ke alam neraka, atau Anda sangat miss mereka, kangen dengan mereka.
The people, where I live in Thailand, they say, I'm in the hell, they're all my friends, when I go to heaven, it is very empty. So I better go with all my friends.
Jadi orang Thai berkata, di surga itu tidak ada teman saya, jadi lebih baik saya pergi ke neraka. Teman-teman saya semua di sana.
So we talked about the 5 precepts. Keeping the 5 precepts is very important. There's something else, there's a way to heaven, if you want to go to heaven for a while, some people want to go there. There are 3 prerequisites that also are necessary when we start to practice.
Jadi kita berbicara tentang 5 sila dan menjalankan 5 sila, dan bila Anda ingin terlahir di alam surga untuk beberapa waktu, ada 3 hal yang wajib dilakukan untuk dapat terlahir di alam surga.
The first prerequisite is generosity.
Yang pertama adalah kedermawanan, kemurah hatian.
The second one is being respectful to all beings.
Yang kedua adalah menghormati kepada semua makhluk.
Not only to the beings that we like, to every being, even if we dislike them very much.
Bukan hanya kepada makhluk yang kita sukai, tetapi juga makhluk kepada kita tidak sukai.
And being grateful for what is given to us.
Dan merasa berterima kasih terhadap apa yang telah diberikan kepada kita.
That includes our parents, that includes the teachers, that includes everybody, who took care of us.
Dan hal ini juga termasuk orang tua kita, guru-guru kita, dan mereka yang telah menjaga kita, memelihara kita.
Only if you have developed these 3 prerequisites to a certain degree and kept the 5 precepts, then you can go to heaven for a while.
Hanya dengan memiliki atau menjalankan 3 syarat ini dengan baik sampai suatu level standar, level tertentu, dan juga ditambah dengan menjaga 5 sila, maka Anda dapat terlahir di alam surga untuk beberapa waktu.
But heaven only lasts for a certain amount of time.
Tetapi alam surga hanya bertahan untuk sekian waktu.
And then we probably drop down to hell.
Dan kemungkinan kita akan jatuh ke alam neraka.
Like my venerable teacher told us, when he looked at his previous life, he went up to this heaven, then he went down to that hell, then he went up to that heaven, and then he went down to that hell, before he became back as a human being. Going up, going down, going up, going down. That's fun.
Jadi guru beliau yang Maha Tua bercerita kepada mereka tentang kehidupan lampaunya, bahwa beliau dari alam surga turun ke alam neraka, naik lagi ke alam surga, turun lagi ke alam neraka, sebelum terakhir sebagai manusia.
So heaven is not eternal, just like hell is not eternal. We spend, you work very hard, in 1 year, and save money to go on holiday. And once the money is gone, you go back to the working hell.
Jadi alam surga dan alam neraka memiliki waktu, tidaklah untuk selamanya, tidaklah permanen. Seperti kita menabung, kita bekerja sekian lama, kita akan berlindung untuk beberapa hari, beberapa waktu, dan kita kembali kepada neraka pekerjaan kembali.
Yeah, working and working, earning money, to go on the next holiday. Yeah, see, yeah.
Jadi kita bekerja dan bekerja mencari uang untuk liburan berikutnya.
I mean, out of this reason, I call samsara, or the cycle of birth and death, the roller coaster of life, going up, going down, going up, going down.
Jadi beliau menyebutnya sebagai roller coaster kehidupan, naik dan turun, naik dan turun.
You have roller coaster here? You know what it is? Yeah. I mean, it's going up, and then going down, going up again, going down. Yeah? Yeah. You saw it in America, in Los Angeles, huge roller coaster.
Jadi roller coaster itu naik dan turun, naik dan turun.
You don't have this fun in Indonesia, or?
We save our money, we go somewhere else to play roller coaster.
What?
We save our money, we working, save our money, we go other place to play roller coaster.
Okay, that is life, yeah? Huh? Going up, going down.
Okay, jadi itulah kehidupan, naik dan turun, naik dan turun.
So the second part, from the way that leads out of the dukkha, yeah, is samadhi.
Jalan yang kedua untuk keluar daripada dukkha adalah samadhi.
Samadhi is the ability to concentrate on one object.
Samadhi adalah kemampuan untuk berkonsentrasi pada satu objek.
But not only the ability to concentrate, but also being aware of what that object is doing.
Bukan hanya berkonsentrasi saja, tetapi mengetahui apakah yang sedang terjadi pada objek tersebut.
So we normally concentrate on the breath around the tip of the nose, know that the breath goes in, know that the breath goes out.
Jadi biasanya kita berkonsentrasi pada ujung hidung kita, mengetahui nafas masuk, mengetahui nafas keluar.
The knowingness, or this awareness of the breath around the tip of the nose is something that is very important.
Jadi mengetahui tentang nafas adalah sesuatu yang sangat penting.
It's not mindfulness, it's mind emptiness.
Itulah bukan suatu mindful, bukanlah mindful adalah pikiran kita full di sana, tetapi ini merupakan pikiran yang kosong.
The mind is empty of any occupation.
Pikiran kosong daripada tidak ada pikiran.
And when the mind is empty of any occupation, it knows.
Ketika pikiran itu tidak ada, can I say no activity?
What?
Can I say no activity in the mind? No
Yeah.
occupation?
Yes, yeah.
Ketika pikiran itu tidak ada aktivitas, tidak ada activity, di sanalah keluar mengetahui.
It is also called, this awareness is also called sati.
Juga disebut kesadaran atau sati.
So samadhi has two aspects. One is the concentration onto an object, and the other is the sati, or this knowingness about the object.
Jadi samadhi ada dua faktor. Yang pertama adalah konsentrasi, yang kedua adalah mengetahui apa yang terjadi dengan objek tersebut, yaitu sati.
A lot of people, when they sit in samadhi, they concentrate and they concentrate and concentrate, but they don't know what is going on.
Kebanyakan orang duduk meditasi, mereka berkonsentrasi dan berkonsentrasi, tapi mereka tidak tahu apa yang sedang terjadi.
And because of when they are able to concentrate, and a nice feeling arises, then they go to this feeling, and their samadhi is gone.
Dan ketika mereka berkonsentrasi menyenangkan tersebut dan samadhi itu hilang.
So don't forget, when you go into meditation class, use both. Concentrate, on the breath, or we can also use the word Buddha, 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 yeah? And know what this object is doing. Yeah?
Jadi selanjutnya bila kita berkonsentrasi pada nafas kita atau pada kata Buddha dan mengetahui apakah yang sedang terjadi.
Because only then we can enter samadhi.
Dan hanya dengan demikian kita dapat memasuki samadhi.
Samadhi is the stillness of the mind when there is no occupation. That means when there is no thoughts arising and no memories coming up.
Samadhi adalah ketenangan pikiran ketika tidak ada pikiran yang muncul. Thought and what?
Memory.
Dan ingatan. Tidak ada pikiran dan ingatan yang muncul. Itulah samadhi.
And if there are no thoughts and no memories coming up,
dan ketika tidak ada ingatan dan memori, tidak ada pikiran dan memori yang muncul,
there is no future,
tidak ada masa depan,
there is no past,
tidak ada masa lalu,
there is no fear,
tidak ada ketakutan,
there is no worries,
tidak ada kekhawatiran.
there's just happiness or stillness or peacefulness.
Yang ada adalah kebahagiaan, kedamaian.
Isn't that what we're looking for?
Bukankah itu yang kita cari?
So why do we look outside of ourselves?
Jadi kenapa kita mencari di luar dari tubuh kita?
Why do we think, happiness arises in the money or in the car, in the house, in the partner?
Jadi kenapa kita berpikir bahwa kebahagiaan itu ada pada uang, rumah, mobil, ataupun pada pasangan kita?
It arises here in this heart.
Kebahagiaan itu muncul dari hati kita.
You understand that?
Apakah Anda paham?
Unhappiness arises also in this heart.
Ketidakbahagiaan juga muncul dari hati kita.
And the strange thing is, it has nothing to do with what is happening outside of us.
Dan anehnya atau tidak ada yang berkaitan, berhubungan dengan sesuatu yang di luar daripada diri kita.
You understand that?
Apakah Anda paham?
Huh? We always blame somebody if we are unhappy. Huh?
Kita selalu menyalahkan orang lain ketika kita tidak bahagia, tidak senang.
It's because of this or because of that, because of that. No, it is because of our own heart.
Karena ini, karena itu, bukan semuanya karena hati kita.
Really, really understand it. If you understand that, your life will be very easy.
Pahamilah dengan benar-benar. Bila Anda memahaminya, maka hidup Anda akan menjadi mudah.
Because the things that arise in our heart, we can eliminate.
Karena bila sesuatu muncul di hati kita, kita dapat menghilangkannya.
And that is the way of wisdom or the way of panya.
Dan itulah jalan daripada kebijaksanaan atau jalan dari panya.
Wisdom, investigates the things that arise in our heart.
Kebijaksanaan adalah menyelidiki apa yang muncul dari hati kita.
Including this body.
Termasuk tubuh jasmani.
Feeling.
Perasaan.
That is bodily feeling or mental feeling.
Perasaan jasmani, perasaan batin.
That is thoughts.
Pikiran.
And memory and associations.
Dan ingatan dan asosiasinya yang berkaitan dengan memori.
You know what association is?
Something related to the memory.
No. When I see somebody and I say this is a man or woman, that is association. It comes with a memory.
Jadi memori dan asosiasi itu yang menjelaskan apakah itu asosiasi. Jadi saya melihat seseorang ini adalah pria, ini adalah wanita, itulah adalah asosiasi dari
Yeah. No, not perception. Right? Perceiving something, doesn't. If you perceive something, it doesn't mean that you know what you perceive. Memory tells you what you perceive. Yeah? And it can be also. Yeah? I mean, if there's a feeling, there's a feeling. It's a painful feeling, or a neutral feeling, or a happy feeling.
Kalau perasaan ada perasaan tidak menyenangkan, perasaan netral, dan perasaan menyenangkan.
So, and the last part is the consciousness.
Dan yang terakhir adalah kesadaran.
A lot of people, confuse consciousness, with the thing, I am, or something like that. That's not the case.
Biasanya orang berpikir bahwa consciousness, kesadaran itu adalah saya, diri saya.
When you look at the process, consciousness only tells you that something has come into contact with our senses.
Kesadaran adalah suatu kita menyadari bahwa sesuatu. Can you repeat again? Consciousness is when we contact.
When we receive the contact with our senses, that something has to come in contact with our senses.
Bahwa sesuatu datang dan berkontak dengan indera kita. Itu adalah kesadaran kita mengetahui.
We don't know yet what sense has been triggered.
Kita tidak tahu indera mana yang terpicu.
So memory will tell us, what sense it is and what we have perceived.
Dan ingatan yang mengatakan bahwa inilah indera yang terpicu. And what it is?
Yeah, and what it is.
Dan apakah hal tersebut?
I mean, that's what we're training for how many years when we are born? Yeah. Look at the little babies, when they try, make contact, to know what it is. Yeah. That's where they train the memory. Yeah. To be able, to match, what they perceive, with what is there. Yeah.
Seperti bayi yang beberapa tahun mereka memerlukan beberapa tahun untuk melatih dirinya menyentuh ini dan itu untuk dapat mendapatkan persepsi hal tersebut.
So wisdom is investigating these 5 khandhas or 5 groups.
Jadi kebijaksanaan adalah untuk menyelidiki 5 khandha atau 5 urusan kelompok.
You know the 5 groups that I just mentioned?
Apakah Anda mengetahui 5 khandha yang beliau baru sampaikan?
Again, the group of the body, of feeling, of thought, of memory, association, and consciousness.
Biasanya kita dengan bahasa Bali babe dan aslinya sekarangnya adalah tubuh jasmani, perasaan, memori dan asosiasi, sampai thought.
Thought, consciousness. I mean, you don't even know.
Thought, ya.
Body, feeling, thought,
Pikiran,
memory,
memori dan asosiasi,
consciousness.
dan kesadaran.
This memory is not good.
Coffee.
Your memory is not good.
Coffee. I blame the coffee.
Blame your karma.
Blaming this and blaming that.
There are 3 universal characteristics called anicca, anatta, dukkha.
Ada 3 karakter universal atau umum, yaitu anicca, dukkha, anatta.
And we can use this to investigate these 5 khandhas.
Dan kita menggunakan 3 corak ini untuk menyelidiki 5 khandha.
So, the first thing that we investigate is this body.
Jadi yang pertama kita selidiki adalah tubuh ini, tubuh jasmani.
We are born in this body, we will die in this body, so we think we are the body.
Kita lahir di tubuh ini, kita juga meninggal di tubuh ini, jadi kita berpikir kita adalah tubuh ini.
Or not? Or not? Don't you think so?
Apakah Anda berpikir demikian?
Now imagine, you're born in a car, and you die in the car and never get out of the car. You assume that you are the car.
Contohnya, umpamanya kita lahir di mobil, kita pun meninggal di mobil, tidak pernah keluar dari mobil, dan kita berpikir kita adalah mobil.
But there's a driver in the car, otherwise the car would not move.
Tetapi ada seseorang yang mengemudi mobil tersebut. Bila tidak, mobil tersebut tidak bisa jalan.
And there's a chitta in this body, that is just like the driver in the car.
Dan ada cita dalam tubuh ini yang berlaku seperti pengemudi dalam sebuah mobil.
And that is the problem.
Dan itulah masalahnya.
That the chitta, because the chitta is greed, hatred, and delusion.
Cita is
Greed, hatred, and delusion. The chitta. Yeah, in the chitta is greed, hatred, and delusion.
Tetapi dalam cita adalah keserakahan, greed, hatred, kebencian, dan pandangan salah.
Yeah, sure.
Greed, hatred, and
Delusion.
Dosa,
Dosa, moha, lobha, dosa, moha. This is the problem, yeah. I mean, because the chitta moves, yeah. That's why the body moves, yeah. We want something, we are thirsty, so the body moves, to give us something to drink.
Jadi itulah masalahnya, ketika tubuh bergerak adalah cinta yang bergerak, ketika tubuh ini haus, maka tubuh bergerak mendapatkan air untuk minum.
The important thing in this investigation is to understand that the body and the chitta are two different things.
Jadi adalah hal yang penting untuk mengetahui bahwa tubuh dan cinta ini adalah dua hal yang berbeda.
I just mentioned the 5 khandhas. In the 5 khandhas, there is no chitta.
Saya baru saja menjelaskan 5 khandha, dan dalam 5 khandha tersebut tidak ada cita.
The 5 khandhas are the toolbox of the chitta.
5 khandha adalah alat-alat daripada cita.
Just like you have at home a toolbox, with screwdriver and, whatever there is in the toolbox. I mean, whoever, controls the toolbox, can use the tools.
Jadi seperti di rumah kita ada alat-alat peralatan di rumah seperti obeng dan yang lainnya. Siapa yang mengontrol alat tersebut dapat menggunakannya.
So if you're two people who constantly fight to use the toolbox, you're in trouble.
Bila 2 orang menggunakan satu kotak peralatan, maka akan ada masalah.
You understand it clearly. 2 people are fighting over a toolbox because they want to use the tools.
Apakah kita mengerti 2 orang berantem untuk menggunakan kotak peralatan agar bisa menggunakan peralatan tersebut?
What?
I don't understand.
You don't understand, yeah? I mean, there is avijja, and there's dhamma,
Ada avijja dan ada dhamma.
These are the 2 people who constantly fight who can use the tools.
Jadi mereka lah 2 yang selalu bertarung berkelahi untuk menggunakan kotak peralatan tersebut.
Slow with it. You understand? Slow with it. You understand slowly?
Yes.
I try to explain it so that people can understand. there's the light and there's the darkness. In Christianity, you call it light and darkness, avijja and dhamma. Yeah? I mean, you can call it anyway, but they are opposing things.
Atau ada dengan kata lain adalah cahaya dan kegelapan. Kita boleh menggunakan avijja atau dhamma atau cahaya atau kegelapan.
And whoever sits on the throne, yeah, that's what Lungta Mahabua said, can use the tools.
Dan siapapun yang duduk di singgasana dapat menggunakan kotak peralatan tersebut.
So, for instance, you decide to sit in meditation for an hour, yeah, and after 5 minutes the killer says, "Come, I have something important to do," yeah. So they take over the power of the body and they go, yeah. And before it was the Dhamma, yeah, or there's too much pain, I have to go, and so on, yeah. So they are constantly fighting, who has the power over the khandhas.
Jadi seperti kita bermeditasi, baru 5 menit saja kilesa sudah datang, wah ada hal yang harus kita kerjakan dan kita pun keluar dari meditasi kita. Jadi seperti itulah avijja dan dhamma, mereka selalu berkelahi dan siapapun yang mengontrol duduk di singgasana dapat mengontrol seperti itu kita.
So if you remember the 5 khandhas, the 5 groups, that's the body, that is feeling, that is memory, thought, yeah, and consciousness. Yeah? If avijja uses it, it is to your detriment. If the Dhamma uses it, it is for your benefit.
Jadi seperti 5 khandha yang beliau sebutkan tadi, jasmani, perasaan, memori, pikiran, dan kesadaran. Bila avijja yang menggunakannya maka akan membahayakan diri kita. Tetapi bila dhamma yang digunakan maka akan menguntungkan diri kita.
So for instance, if you are very unhappy, then the kilesas, or avijja comes and says, "Oh, play with your smartphone." Or to the other people, they say, "Okay, go drink a beer or wine, yeah, to forget the dukkha." Yeah?
Jadi ketika seperti kita sedang tidak bahagia, kita sedang bersedih, kilesa datang mengatakan, mari kita menggunakan handphone kita, atau kita chatting kepada orang lain, mari kita minum bir dan sebagainya.
Okay, so let's talk about anicca, anatta, dukkha. Anicca, yeah, is impermanent. What arises ceases. Yeah? I mean, then the rain comes, then the sun comes, then the rain comes, and the sun comes. Nothing is constant in this universe. Our thought arises and ceases. Yeah?
Jadi mari kita membicarakan tentang anicca, dukkha, dan anatta. Anicca seperti hujan datang, muncul matahari lagi, kemudian datang, muncul matahari lagi. Tidak ada sesuatu yang konstan ataupun tetap di dunia ini.
Feeling arises and ceases.
Perasaan muncul dan lenyap.
Happiness arises and ceases.
Kebahagiaan muncul dan lenyap.
Unhappiness arises and ceases.
Ketidakbahagiaan juga muncul dan lenyap.
If we investigate the things, within ourselves, we see it's a constant movement.
Bila kita menyelidikinya dalam diri kita, apakah kita mengatakannya suatu pergerakan yang tetap?
The other principle, is anatta. Yeah? What did the Lord Buddha say? It's not me, it's not mine, it doesn't belong to me, it is not myself.
Yang kedua adalah anatta, yaitu seperti yang dikatakan Buddha adalah me bukan saya, not mine bukan milik saya dan bukan saya.
It doesn't belong to me.
Dan bukan milik kita.
It is not myself.
Dan bukan milik kita.
When you look, left or right, you see somebody. Is it you?
Ketika kita melihat ke kiri dan ke kanan, kita melihat seseorang.
Look at his.
Itu adalah diri kami.
Look at his arm.
Lihatlah lengan mereka.
Is it your arm?
Apakah adalah lengan Anda.
Now look at your arm.
Dan lihatlah lengan Anda.
Is it your arm?
Apakah itu adalah lengan Anda?
Why do you call it your arm?
Kenapa menyebutnya lengan Anda?
In our language, we have subject and object.
Dalam bahasa kita memiliki subjek dan objek.
Yeah? You understand it? Subject, object? No.
Apakah Anda paham subjek dan objek? Subjek adalah
I see him. I subject, him object.
saya melihat dia. Saya adalah subjek, dia adalah objek. Itu adalah subjek dan objek.
So, whatever you see cannot be you.
Jadi apapun yang Anda lihat tidak bisa dikatakan adalah Anda.
Is that clear?
Apakah paham? Jelas. Yang Anda lihat itu pasti bukanlah Anda. Karena yang lihat tidak mungkin melihat diri sendiri kan.
Whatever I feel cannot be me.
Setiap yang saya rasakan, itu pasti bukanlah saya.
Because there's somebody who knows there's a feeling.
Karena ada sesuatu yang mengetahui perasaan tersebut.
It's very important that you understand that. Yeah?
Sangatlah penting untuk memahami hal ini.
There's the experience of the feeling and somebody who experiences it.
Yaitu pengalaman mengetahui merasakan perasaan tersebut dan siapakah yang mengetahui merasakan perasaan tersebut.
The feeling is like a cloud.
Perasaan adalah seperti awan.
Yeah, we see it, it comes and it goes.
Kita melihatnya datang dan ia pergi.
But who sees it?
Tetapi siapakah yang melihatnya?
And the chitta, or the knowingness, knows that there is a feeling. Yeah, just like
Yaitu cita atau yang mengetahui.
just like we see something. We see something, yeah, but what we see is not us.
Seperti kita melihat sesuatu yang kita lihat bukanlah kita.
So don't say it's my feeling. Say there is a feeling.
Jadi jangan sebut perasaan saya, tetapi ada perasaan.
Very important to understand. There is a thought. There is a feeling. There is a memory. It is not us. Somebody knows there's a memory coming up. It's not our memory. It's not our thought. Yeah, and it's not our feeling. Yeah, it's not our cloud. Yeah, it's not the rain cloud or the white cloud or the dark cloud that comes by. Yeah, it's not us. We see it. Yeah, but because of our attachment, we say it's me, mine, myself.
Jadi perasaan bukanlah perasaan kita, pikiran, ingatan bukanlah milik kita, bukanlah kita. Seperti awan putih, awan hitam, itu bukanlah awan kita, bukanlah kita. Tetapi karena kemelekatan kita merasa itu sebagai kita dan milik kita.
There? Okay, understood?
Kira-kira apakah membingungkan? Jadi membingungkan Anda ya? Oke.
If you really understood that,
Anda benar-benar memahami hal tersebut,
then you can never ever say again, you hurt my feeling.
maka Anda tidak bisa mengatakannya lagi bahwa Anda melukai perasaan saya.
Because it's not your feeling.
Because itu bukanlah perasaan Anda.
Huh? And then you can live in peace. Yeah? Then you can live in peace.
Dan Anda bisa hidup dengan damai.
Huh? These things, yeah? that is the delusion that we live in, that we believe that these things are me, mine, and myself. Yeah?
Jadi inilah delusi di mana kita
But the first problem, that arises is the attachment to our body.
Tapi masalah pertama adalah kemelekatan kita terhadap tubuh kita.
That's why you, for instance, wear a mask, yeah?
Contohnya seperti memakai masker.
Or like in Malaysia or in Singapore or probably also Indonesia. I mean, they eat medicine like staple food, yeah.
Atau seperti di Malaysia ataupun di Singapura mereka mengkonsumsi obat-obatan seperti makanan pokok setiap hari.
Medicine is then when we are sick. Huh? It's not a nutriment.
Obat-obatan adalah untuk ketika kita sakit.
But we worry so much about the body that, I mean, we instantly run to see the doctor and then, he gives us just medicine. Yeah?
Tapi kita sangat mengkhawatirkan untuk kita ini sehingga kita cepat-cepat kita melihat dokter dan memberikan kita obat ini dan obat itu.
Instead of running to the greatest of all doctors, the Lord Buddha, and finding the way out. Yeah?
Daripada hal tersebut, mereka tidak mencari dokter yang paling baik yaitu Sang Buddha yang keluar dari semua hal ini.
Yeah? Because he knows, he understands, he teaches us why things are happening in our life.
Karena beliau mengajarkan kenapa hal-hal tersebut muncul atau terjadi pada diri kita dalam hidup kita.
They're happening because of our karma.
Mereka terjadi karena kita sendiri.
They know what karma is?
Apakah kita memahami apakah karma itu tersebut?
You know what karma is?
Kita memahami apakah karma.
I'm asking you. Yeah, you just translate. Yeah. Huh? Don't do unto others what you don't want others to do unto you.
Jangan melakukan apa yang Anda tidak ingin dilakukan terhadap diri Anda sendiri.
Yeah, but you forgot the second one. For whatever happens to us is what we have done unto others.
Karena apapun yang terjadi pada diri kita, kita pernah melakukan terhadap orang lain.
Yes. Bite your teeth, yeah, and go through it. Yeah? Because only things that we have done unto others, be it good or be it bad, will come back to us.
Jadi apapun yang kita lakukan, apakah itu yang baik ataupun yang buruk, akan kembali kepada diri kita sendiri.
When we understand this principle, very important principle,
Ketika kita memahami prinsip ini,
and we are very aware of it every day,
dan kita menyadarinya, mengawasi,
then we can really live a very peaceful and happy life.
maka kita dapat hidup dengan sangat damai.
We don't have to fight anybody, anything.
Kita tidak perlu berkelahi ataupun bertikai orang lain tentang apapun.
And if we have a little bit of wisdom, then we can look what kind of action leads to this kind of karma, and then we can remove the cause of it from our heart.
Dan bila kita memiliki sedikit kebijaksanaan, kita dapat melihat apakah suatu action ini dapat menghasilkan suatu karma, apakah karma yang akan dihasilkan, maka kita dapat memutuskan akarnya. We can disroot.
Remove the root from our heart.
Dari batin kita, melenyapkan akarnya dalam batin kita.
We can remove that what causes this karma from our heart, so that it won't happen in the future.
Kita dapat melenyapkan akar tersebut dari batin kita sehingga kita tidak menerima karma lagi. Tidak terjadi lagi di masa depan lagi.
The only problem is that we don't have enough awareness during the day, that we don't see what we are doing, why we are doing it, and what the results of our doing is. We just do it.
Tetapi kita kebanyakan tidak memiliki cukup kesadaran atau mawas diri, sehingga kita tidak mengetahui apakah yang kita lakukan dan apakah yang dihasilkan.
We need to be able to reflect about what we are doing, why we are doing it, and what the result of our doing is every day.
Kita perlu merefleksi diri kita sendiri, apakah yang kita lakukan, kenapa kita melakukannya, dan apakah hasil dari perlakuan kita, perilaku kita, perbuatan kita setiap hari.
Okay, so we need to train this sati or this awareness, and have a little bit of reflection. Yeah, what happened during our day? Yeah, why did we react in the way that we reacted? Yeah, why did we say this word, or why did we do this action? What was the cause of it? Yeah? Reflect about it. Yeah, and then your life goes very easy. You know. It can actually become very playful, very joyful, if you don't take it to heart.
Kita perlu menyelidiki dalam hari-hari kita, kenapa kita melakukan hal ini.
What?
Can you come again? Why we do that, and then
The cause, why we do it, what is the result of our doing. Yeah. What we are doing, why we are doing, what is the result of our doing.
kenapa kita melakukannya, apakah yang kita lakukan, dan apakah hasil dari perlakuan kita, perilaku kita.
Sometimes I also forget what I say. So, I think that is enough, for today,
Jadi cukup untuk hari ini.
So, if you have some questions, then you might ask them.
Apakah Anda memiliki pertanyaan, Anda boleh bertanya.
Han, can you look what happened to the camera? Why it's not recording?
Ada yang ingin bertanya?
Is it still recording? Yeah, I saw it. That's why I asked. Yeah. Turn it on again.
Just now he said I translate, but
What?
I translate that
Yeah.
Chitta is not part of Khanda.
Yes.
He doesn't understand that.
I mean, I explained the 5 khandas: Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vijnana.
Chitta is not a part of the Panchakanda. I don't understand.
Yeah. Do you listen what the 5 khandas are?
Yeah.
Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vijnana. There is no chitta in the khandas.
So what is the Chitta?
The chitta is the one who uses the khandas. It is a person who uses the toolbox.
In different Chitta is not consciousness.
What?
Chitta is not consciousness.
I just explained it. Consciousness is something we are aware of, something has come into our sense contact. sense contact. Yeah? We have 6 senses. Yeah? If one of the senses is hit, memory tells us what sense is hit and what we perceive. That's why I explained it. I know lots of people think consciousness is chitta. No. The Lord Buddha used vinyan. It is not the same as chitta. Chitta is a Pali word, vinyan is a Pali word. If consciousness would be chitta, he would use the same word, wouldn't he? No? Understand that chitta is that, yeah? It is formed, yeah? There's the pure chitta, that's the chitta of the Arahant, and there's the defiled chitta, that is our chitta, yeah? The chitta itself, once we purify it, it is the pure chitta, yeah? That is eternity, yeah? The chitta of the Arahant, yeah? And in the chitta there's greed, hatred, and delusion, yeah? And greed and hatred are rooted in this body, yeah? And delusion is rooted in sanya and sankhara, so in thoughts and memory, yeah? So we first have to get rid of greed and hate, before we can even touch the delusion, yeah? A lot of people want to investigate only the mind function. Yeah, they don't want to investigate this body. Yeah? They don't want to cut it up, yeah, into bits and pieces, huh? Because we love it. Huh? Understood?
Jadi tadi beliau mengatakan dalam cinta ada loba, dosa, dan loba dan dosa itu berakar di jasmani, dan moha itu ada sangkar energinya.
Yeah.
Jadi pertama itu kita harus menyelidiki tubuh ini. Beliau mengatakan banyak orang menyelidiki pikiran dan pikiran tidak mau menyelidiki tubuh ini.
Yes, some awareness. Han is sitting in front and he doesn't notice anything. Okay, so other questions?
So previously you said that if we understood your speech, we will never need to say, "Oh, you hurt my feelings," because it isn't our feelings. But I really got confused there, because if it isn't our feelings, then why are we feeling the emotions? If it's someone else's feelings, then why are we feeling it and not them?
Why do you see the clouds in the sky?
Because it's here.
See? It's the same thing.
But they're the one who causes the feelings, and we felt it, so it is our feelings.
I do not understand what you're asking.
They are the one who causes us to feel emotions, so it is our feelings, because we're the one who felt it and not them.
Can somebody translate that so that I understand?
Because the other person is that make the feeling come up. Why is not?
Yeah, but it doesn't come up in the other person, it comes up in us.
So why is not for our own feeling?
Because it arises and ceases. It arises because of our reaction to somebody else's say something, yeah? Just like the cloud arises because of the sun, picking up the water. It's a phenomena. And that is something that we have to realize. Yeah? If the moment we attach to the feeling, then it becomes our feeling. Yeah? If we don't attach to it, then it becomes a feeling. There is a feeling. Who knows that there is a feeling? Next time you ask, do you know that you are feeling? Ask the feeling. Do you know what it answers? Nothing. Because it's a phenomena. And we perceive the phenomena. Just like our eyes perceive other things. Ne? Just because you perceive some other person doesn't mean it's you. Oh? Understood?
Understood.
No, not understood. Where's he? Does he translate or what?
He understand.
What?
I think she understand English. You want Henry to translate for
No, you understand it.
I understand.
Okay. And I understand that it is difficult to understand because we are attached to it. Just like you're attached to your smartphone. Yeah? Yeah? Or you're attached to knowingness. You want to know about this, you want to know about that, yeah? And you can't let go of it, yeah? So we can't let go of feelings, we can't let go of thought. This is my thought. No, it's not your thought. There's a thought. There's a memory, yeah? And most of our memories are completely distorted anyway. Huh? Yeah? Let translate a little bit so that the others understand as well. Huh?
Jadi kita selalu melekat pada perasaan kita, pada pikiran kita, sehingga kita menganggapnya sebagai milik kita. Tetapi bila kita melihat bahwa ada sesuatu yang mengetahui, oh ini ada pikiran, maka ini bukan menjadi pikiran saya, tetapi ada suatu pikiran, ada suatu perasaan. Seperti ada tadi akan jelaskan, ada subjek, ada objek. Saya melihat Romo Peter pasti bukanlah saya. Saya merasakan perasaan. Perasaan itu pasti bukanlah saya. Saya mengetahui ada muncul pikiran. Saya mengetahui ada pikiran tersebut. Pikiran adalah objek dan yang mengetahui adalah subjek. Jadi demikian yang dijelaskan oleh tadi.
And there's something else. You talked about emotion. Emotion is not within the five khandhas. Emotion is something that we boiled up. Translate.
Dan tadi ada mengatakan tentang emosi. Nah, emosi bukan hanya marah, tetapi emosi perasaan. Emosi bukanlah bagian dari pancaran dari tetapi merupakan suatu yang boil up,
Yeah.
yang terbentuk gitu.
Maybe you have seen an avalanche in the snowy region, in the Tibetan mountains. Yeah? A stone causes, to fall, and with each roll it takes on snow and becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. That is called an emotion.
Seperti avalanche, bagaimana kita sebut?
Snow.
Longsoran salju ya, longsoran salju di pegunungan seperti di Filipina kan longsor. Jadi longsor pertama itu ada dari batu kecil. Batu kecil tersebut menggelinding, membuat salju mengelilingnya makin tebal, sehingga menjadi suatu longsoran besar. Itulah emosi terbentuk menjadi besar.
It's okay. Now you turned it off.
Dari sesuatu yang kecil.
No, I talked to Hans. Now you turned it off again. What? There's no timer. Heat.
That timer. Oh, heat.
Heat. Okay. It's too hot for the camera. So wait for a minute and then turn it back on. The important thing about emotion is, there's a thought. With a thought comes is a feeling attached. Yeah. Then there's a memory, the similar memory coming up, with the same kind of feeling, so the feeling gets bigger, And then there's another thought, so with each roll it becomes bigger and bigger and bigger until it overwhelms us, yeah? And that's what we call an emotion, yeah? But we can stop it at any time, yeah? When we see, see the stone rolling, yeah, we can instantly stop it, say puto, 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 and then it disappears. Yeah?
Jadi emosi itu seperti ada suatu pikiran muncul, dilengkapi oleh perasaan. Dan muncul lagi ingatan, memori misalnya masa lalu yang dilengkapi, ditambah dengan perasaan. Nah, dari memori tersebut nanti kita berpikir lagi, pikiran yang lain muncul, ditambah perasaan lagi. Jadi bergelinding sampai kita menjadi overwhelmed itu seperti overdosis gitu ya, seperti bagaimana bahasanya overwhelmed lalu kewalahan.
So this is a very simple trick, to stop any kind of emotion. Yeah.
Jadi saya lupa tadi beliau mengatakan kita bisa memutuskan pikiran tersebut atau emosi tersebut dengan duduk kapanpun bila kita sadar.
Okay, so any other question?
Jadi ada pertanyaan lain.
Okay, probably too much for most of the people. Some things, most of the things you haven't heard before, yeah.
Jadi kebanyakan kita belum pernah dengar.
No. What do you think?
I read it several times already.
Yes.
Jadi yang saya sampaikan itu semuanya ada di buku yang sudah diterjemahkan dalam bahasa Indonesia.
Yeah, so a lot of it, I hope you translated it correctly.
Also, I will pass it several times.
So you can read it. Okay, so then it's enough for today, yeah?
Jadi cukup untuk hari ini. Kira-kira ada yang ingin bagaimana cara baca hari ini? Ada? Kalau tidak bisa baca. Bisa ya? So, we namaskar to Ajahn.
Yeah. Pay respect and then...
Namaskar ke Ajahn.
Thank you.